Welcome to the I Am Eden podcast. Eden is not just a place, it's a state of being. It is the consciousness of abundance, a mindset rooted in divine purpose. It is a path to healing and a call to surrender to a higher purpose. In this series, we embark on a journey to live in the flow of the true Garden of Eden, a life of flourishing and deliberate creation. I Am Eden is a movement, a platform to provide clarity, awaken vision, and ignite divine inspiration. We invite you into this sanctuary of reflection and discovery. Welcome to Eden.
Today we delve into discerning seasons and timing. This episode was inspired by a conversation I had with one of my spiritual advisors on seasons. So let's begin. When we think of seasons, we reflect on Ecclesiastes 3, which says, "For everything there's a season, a time for every activity under heaven." And this reminds us that God has ordained different seasons in life, each with a purpose. There's a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, and so on and so forth. So how do we apply this in our lives? In my path of purpose, I've realized that anything that comes in our lives off season becomes a temptation or that weapon formed against us that may cause us not to prosper. It may be a good and purposeful thing, but if presented or possessed in the wrong time, it may not serve the purpose for which it was intended. And if anything does not serve the purpose to which it was assigned, it gradually wilts to nothingness. For example, you need a driver's license to legally drive a vehicle. This means that seasons are most vital. That more important than the thing itself or the desire you have is the timing or the season in which you receive that desire. Whether that desire is a relationship, a job, a resource of any kind, or an experience. And if we receive our desires in the wrong time, it will not only be unsustainable, but it may even result in loss or simply purposelessness. Even in farming, we see that certain seeds grow better in specific seasons. And it's this rotation of plowing that leads to fruitfulness in the farmer's effort. Now let's look a bit further into how purposeful things become temptations or weapons formed against us. The Bible says when Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted, the devil first asked him to turn stones into bread, which means that temptation can be bread when we're hungry. Then the devil took him to the holy city and had him stand on the highest point of the temple and said to him, "If you're the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, He will command His angels concerning you, and they will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone." Which means that the temptation can be safety and refuge when you need protection and you need covering. Then the devil took Jesus to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. And he said, "All this I will give you if you will bow down and worship me." And this means that temptation can be opportunities, open doors, business deals, and riches when we've been striving for years but not seeing the fruits of our toil. So why is this important? This is important because we often think that temptations or weapons formed against us are the bad stuff, that the weapons are knives and chains, snakes and sharks and ugly things. But the temptation can simply be that sweet Delilah when you need a sanctuary or a place of rest. Or the temptation can be the big business deal, the biggest deal of your life, but you do not have the capacity or resources to fulfill it. You are not in season, ergo, not seasoned enough to handle it and execute it, which means that you will end up destroying the credibility and integrity of your business. Or the temptation can be that big business partnership or investment, but it's coming from people who do not serve the purpose of God or whose beliefs and systems are not aligned with God's purpose for your life. What we need to know is that whether or not it is a temptation or a weapon is not only a question of it being good or purposeful, but it is also a function of two main things. The first one being the source. Is it from God, the one true source of all good things? Because the enemy has capacity to give us all these things we desire, to give us bread, to give us safety and refuge, to give us opportunities and open doors for us, to give us homes with Delilah when we need the warmth. But what he gives us will lead us out of the path of God. The second thing we need to know is the timing. You must ask yourself, is it the right season? This is because whatever we receive becomes a temptation or a weapon if it is off season, and a blessing if it is in season. Whether or not it's good or it is purposeful, if it is received off season, it becomes a temptation or a weapon. For example, if we use the same driver's license example, if you receive a car without a driver's license, it becomes that weapon. And so understanding seasons is critical for us to be able to perceive temptations in our lives and in our path to purpose. Noting that for each of us, our own path unfolds in a distinct manner. No two paths are the same. So we must learn to discern our own seasons, and in doing so, we must trust in the one true source, trust in the unfolding process, trust in the appointed timing, and trust in our very own seasons. And lastly, we must be patient with God's work. By allowing for the seasons of your life to unfold at their appointed time, only then can you receive the wholeness of your desires and be able to be fruitful and multiply in alignment with God's purpose for your life. Always remember, for everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven. Welcome to Eden.
Thank you for listening to the I Am Eden podcast. We invite you to share your thoughts and insights through messages and voice notes. Don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring content that nurtures your spirit and guides your path. Thank you for being part of our Eden community. Have a divine and inspired journey. Welcome to Eden.